Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Andrea Chisholm. The Caribbean Development Bank CDB is recommending more fiscal stabilizers to help Jamaicans cope during the COVID-19 pandemic. Director of Economics at the CDB, Dr. Justin Ram, was speaking at a recent forum at the University of the West Indies.
Governments across the region have implemented stimulus packages to help citizens survive during the COVID-19 pandemic. But the Director of Economics at the CDB, Dr. Justin Ram, argues that some of the initiatives aren't always strategic.
Because of the nature of this crisis, monetary policy is going to have limited impacts because you can reduce my interest rates by 0.5%, but if I have to stay at home, that's not going to encourage me to go home. And that's not going to bring back the supply chains that could be fractured at this point in time.
He argues that the government should focus on implementing more fiscal stabilizers. He suggested that temporary tax waivers are among the options which should be considered, as well as other health-related concessions.
If, for example, individuals don't have health insurance or that the public health system is insufficient, then we have to think about some way of providing health insurance at this point in time to pay for medical bills associated with the virus. Government should also be encouraged to support and guarantee sick paid leave, because if you have guaranteed sick pay leave, then it's going to be easy for you to self-quarantine. And I think that that's going to be critical at this point in time. So if you don't have that in your place of employment, then the government would need to step in and ensure that that happens.
The regional economist also pointed out that lenders will have to be more lenient during this time.
We need to ask for forbearance to borrowers at this point in time, because it doesn't make sense for a financial intermediary to be hounding down a lender when this, of course, they can't pay. You really have to think about the long term. And so at this point in time, if things become quite critical, we might want to ask financial intermediaries for some forbearance, as it were, to give them some waivers at this point in time, saying that, of course, the monies will be paid later on. There could be an NPV hit there, but I think it's worth it for longer-term resilience.
Andrew Laidley, TVJ News.
Telecommunications company Flow is blaming thieves for the recent disruption in service. In a statement today, the company argued that it's still being plagued by vandalism, even as the nation grapples with COVID-19. Flow says the vandals destroyed network infrastructure last week in St. Catherine and St. James. Flow's country manager Stephen Price says that over 7,400 customers were denied access to fixed services. That includes businesses and other essential entities. Upon investigation, the team concluded that the reported outages in the parishes were due to deliberate and malicious damage to Flow's network infrastructure. He adds that thousands of students were unable to do their work through online platforms. Currency trading ended today with the US dollar selling for $135.39. The Canadian dollar, $95.32. The pound closed at $169.17, while the euro is selling for $151.21. To the stock market now, the JSE index gained 13,681 points today, and the junior market index is up by 51 points. Among the winners, First Rock Capital Holdings US dollar shares, Stanley Motor, Access Financial Services, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, and Cayley Group. On the losing side were Iron Rock Insurance, Consolidated Bakeries, General Accident Insurance Company, Cargo Handlers, and Portland JSX. And that's it for the Business Day. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Good evening.